a child who solved his own parents' murder. The boy was just 7 years old when he became an investigator to solve the case of his parents' murder. How did he do it? Why wasn't the police able to catch the murderer after many years? How is this even possible? What happened to the boy after the incident? To find out more about this case, stay with me till the end. In the small town of East Stroudsburg in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, lived a couple named David and Dawn. Their house had become the talk of the town because it was haunted. The local ghost hunters claimed that their spirits still roamed the corridors of the home, whispering tales of terror to those brave enough to listen. But for 7-year-old David, it was just a place where he could play video games with his dad and watch movies with his mom. It didn't feel haunted at all. But the happiness in the household soon disappeared. One day, while playing outside, the boy found his parents lying motionless on the floor. He touched them and they were cold. Terrified, he quickly dialed 911 and told the operator, "My mom and dad are dead." When the police arrived at the crime scene, they noticed signs of a struggle, overturned furniture, and blood splattered across the walls. It looked like an intense fight had broken out in the house. Upon further investigation, the police found that David and his sister had been viciously attacked with a baseball bat, causing their deaths. As for the murderer, there was no sign of forced entry into the house, and nothing seemed to be missing. So the police believed that whoever committed the murder must have known the family personally. This led to speculation that it might have been a case of a family feud or a crime of passion, but the killer was nowhere to be found. It was hard to believe that someone could attack a young boy and his baby sister without any motive, and there were no witnesses to come forward either. Days turned into weeks, and the police received hundreds of tips, but none panned out. The only lead they had was the fact that the family had recently had a heated argument with their neighbor over a parking space. Perhaps the neighbor had snapped and killed the family in a fit of rage. But why would he have left the little boy alive? All these questions only made the mystery deeper, and the police were left scratching their heads. As time went on, the police started losing hope of ever catching the killer. The case was eventually closed with no suspect in sight. But little David refused to let his parents' death go. Even though he was just a 7-year-old boy, he knew his parents were taken from him, and he wanted justice for them. So he decided to take matters into his own hands and solve the case himself. David moved in with his maternal grandparents after the murder of his parents, and his father, S's brother, helped raise him. He always felt different from other kids his age. He liked to wear his favorite cap backward and preferred to stay inside reading detective novels instead of playing video games. And everyone thought it was just a phase he would soon grow out of. But David was serious about becoming a detective. He used to spend hours poring over his collection of detective books, studying every detail of every case, memorizing every clue and deduction. He learned everything about forensics and criminal psychology, anything that could help him understand the criminal mind and how investigations worked. With each passing year, he got better at solving mysteries, so much so that his father's brother began to take him seriously. The man was impressed by his nephew's deductive reasoning and problem-solving skills. So he decided to help him set up a makeshift investigation room in his house. He provided David with magnifying glasses, fingerprint dusting kits, and evidence markers so that he could recreate being at a crime scene. He also took him on ride-alongs in his police cruiser so that he could see what real police work was like. In addition, He introduced him to some of his police friends who also helped nurture David's interest in law enforcement. Now, here's the thing. David's parents died in 2001, but at the time, no one paid much attention to the boy who wanted to be a detective. They just thought it was a kid trying to live out his action hero fantasies. However, in 2006, when David was 12, people finally started taking notice of him. That's because he managed to solve a theft case in his school. One of his classmates came to school and found his bicycle was stolen. The boy was heartbroken, so he went to the police. But since there was no evidence, the police couldn't do anything about it. Then they gave the case to David. He visited the scene of the crime and observed everything carefully. He asked the other students if they had seen anything suspicious and collected all the information. After carefully analyzing everything, he concluded that one of their classmates had stolen the bike. He approached the boy and asked him about the bike. The boy confessed to the crime immediately. Later, the police investigated the matter and found that the boy had sold the bike to buy drugs. In the end, David not only managed to get his friend his bike back, but also saved him from going down a dangerous path. From that day on, everyone started taking him seriously. People talked about his intelligence. Teachers praised his inquisitive nature, and the police admired his dedication. Some even went as far as to call him a real-life Sherlock Holmes. David was happy that people were finally recognizing him, but his dream was to become a real detective. At the age of 18, he graduated high school with honors. Everyone expected him to attend a prestigious university. But David had other plans. He enrolled in a community college while also working part-time at a local grocery store to support himself. He knew that a college degree wouldn't make him a good detective, so he decided to take a different path. While attending community college, David studied criminal justice and forensic science. He excelled in both subjects, graduating top of his class. But he didn't stop there. He wanted to learn more, so he started attending night classes at a university to study criminology and criminal behavior. But he didn't neglect his day job. Instead, he used it to his advantage. At first, people at the grocery store thought he was weird because he was always wearing his trademark backwards cap and spending his breaks watching police dramas. But David didn't care. He knew what he wanted and wasn't afraid to work hard for it. One day, one of the store's regular customers, who happened to be a police officer, noticed David's dedication and offered him a part-time job as a police aide. David jumped at the opportunity. He spent his days stocking shelves and his nights assisting the police. This was his chance to learn firsthand what being a detective was really like. He assisted the police with various tasks, including fingerprinting, gathering evidence, and conducting background checks. He also accompanied officers on patrol so that he could see real-life police work in action. He learned everything he could about law enforcement. Meanwhile, David kept improving his academic grades. He graduated from the community college with an Associate-S degree and later earned a Bachelor-S degree in criminology from the university. He was now a well-rounded young man with a solid foundation in criminal justice and forensic science, but he didn't let success get to his head. He remained humble and continued working hard. Eventually, he caught the attention of his police mentor, who helped him secure a full-time position as a detective. Now that he had his dream job, David was determined to use his unique skills and knowledge to solve cases that others couldn't. He knew that his experience growing up and his dedication to his studies had prepared him for this moment. He was ready to take on the challenge. and prove that he was more than just a boy who lost his parents. He was a skilled and dedicated detective who was capable of solving even the most difficult cases. To this day, no one knows what happened to the person who killed David's parents. Maybe they slipped up and left behind some evidence that the police will discover one day. Or maybe the murderer is still out there living their life without a care in the world. But David doesn't need to know what happened to the person who killed his parents. For him, the important thing is that he has honored their memory by following his dreams and making them proud. If you think this story is sad, please tell us your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.